Welcome to step 2 in creating your own game. After we defined in step 1 the game design for our own game, we now take a look at the softwares you can use for creating your dream game. If you have missed the first video, there is a link in the description. First we look at the core software and probably the most important tool for creating a game, the game engine. I want to focus first on the probably two most famous game engines, Unity and Unreal Engine 4. And I know there are a lot more game engines out there, but there is a reason why I highlight these two engines above others. And that's how accessible they are for hobby developers and, even more important, people without any experience at all in game developing, programming and coding. Both engines offer you tools to completely go around code writing, and so there is actually no need to have any previous knowledge of programming languages and so on. I said in my introduction video that I will show you it is possible to create your own game without any previous knowledge. And these two outstanding game engines are part of the reasons why I can make a claim like that. Also, because these two engines are so popular, there's a big community supporting newcomers and beginners. You won't only find official tutorials easy, there are maybe thousands of video tutorials you can find on YouTube. And both engines have a very active forum. You can go and ask specific questions there. The knowledge to learn these game engines is out there, you just have to do the first step. Even better, both engines are free to get started with them. They are not completely free if you want to think deeper into game development. Unity offers you only basic tools that call for beginners and hobbyists as free. The Pro version has a hefty price tag of $125 per month, and the $35 Plus version is just for a limited time, and after that you have to upgrade to the Pro version. Unreal Engine 4 gives you everything, all the tools for completely free. You don't have to pay license fees. However, as soon as you make more than $3,000 with your game you developed in the engine, you have to give Epic 5% of your profit. So if you create a successful game, you may end up paying more than with Unity. But this is a very big if, and you don't have to worry about any costs while learning every nuance of the engine and creating your game. Both engines also offer their own store in which you can buy assets, animations, UIs, codes and more. Or you can even sell your own assets. I don't want to get too deep into which engine is the better one, then both have their advantages and disadvantages. I also don't want to tell you which you should use, I only can give you recommendations. Unity is fast to learn for beginners and popular for creating smaller indie games, mobile games or VR games. And it's definitely good to take your first step into game development. Unity doesn't have a very good reputation, but it's not the engine's fault but the creators. Because it is so accessible, many opportunists create their wacky products with Unity. Unreal Engine 4 is probably more difficult to learn, however it is a very powerful 3D engine that almost has no limitations for creating modern games. It has also tools for mobile and VR and has a very good reputation with gamers, and is also used by big companies like Capcom and Activision. Because of its steeper learning curve, big file sizes and high usage of your GPU, it may not be the best suited engine for a smaller project, but it's definitely worth it if you want to create a larger, more sophisticated game project. Because I, myself, could never be satisfied with a small game, and because I also made the claim that I can show you how to create your game without spending money in the development process, I will mostly feature Unreal Engine 4 on my channel. Maybe in the future I will get myself more into another engine like Unity or some other interesting game engine, and then also talk about them. That said, here are two other alternatives you may want to take a look into before deciding. CryEngine is similar to Unreal Engine 4 and better suited for larger projects, and also uses a similar royalty system, so downloading and using the software is completely free. As far as I know, and you can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but CryEngine uses programming languages and coding only, so it is almost recommended to have some experiences in programming if you want to use this engine. Finally, there is Godot, an upcoming game engine created by the community itself. And because of that, it is completely royalty and also license fee free. It also seems to use tools like Unreal Engine and Unity to go around coding and programming. I don't know too much about the engine, but it seems more to be an alternative to Unity for small projects. The interesting part is definitely that it is the only completely free game engine out there. I will of course put links to all 4 engines into the description so you can take a closer look by yourself. I also recommend to you to get other opinions than mine before choosing an engine. Is there an engine I missed and should also be listed here, or do you have a different opinion about the game engines I talked about? Please leave a comment. It may help others to find the best suited engine for them. Choosing the right engine is definitely the most important decision, but not the only one you have to make. If you want to create 3D games and you don't want to buy all the assets and animations and you want to learn how to create them by yourself, you also need a software that can create 3D models and animations. I will only get into 3 of them. Again, if you think you know a software that needs to be listed here, please leave a comment. Here my recommendations are Blender, Maya or 3ds Max. Just know that Blender is the only free software here, and because of that I will mostly cover Blender on my channel. It's definitely not the perfect software. There's a couple of problems, most of them are with the controls. You have to learn a lot of key combinations, and it is the first 3D modeling software I have ever seen in which you can't completely navigate with the mouse only. The good news are you just have to get used to these things. Other problems are that third-party support is definitely worse than with other softwares, with paid softwares, but luckily there are workarounds. Also thanks to support of community add-ons, I don't think there's a lot you can't do in Blender, and you need really licensed software for that. So in other words, I would recommend you to start with Blender, and if you don't feel like it's enough for you, you always can change to a licensed 3D modeling software. Let's look at Maya. Maya has 2 versions, a light one and then the normal one. The light one is $30 per month, the other one $190. My personal take on the difference between these 2 versions is that you probably need the expensive version for creating photorealistic models, textures and animations, but the light version is completely fine for simpler models. There is also, as far as I know, a student version, so if you are a student, you may want to look into that. 3ds Max is around $250 per month, and I honestly don't know what the benefits are for that price. I was actually surprised to see that both softwares, Maya and 3ds Max, are made by the same company, Autodesk, but maybe someone in the comments can shed some light into it. We come to softwares for 2D design. Even if you want to make a 3D game, you probably still will need something you can do some 2D design in. As an example, for creating an interesting and unique looking UI, you have to do this by your own, because the engines don't offer you a lot of variety here. Also, you can draw your own textures in the 3D softwares, but sometimes it is useful to create final details with a software that offers you more tools and is specialized in 2D drawing and designing. If you don't have Photoshop, I can recommend to you GIMP 2.0. It's another free software, so you don't have to worry about any fees. But if you own other 2D design or drawing softwares, they are probably fine too, or even better. When you really want to create 2D drawn and animated games, then I have to say that there ends my knowledge. I'm sorry. I tried to search for some information so I could maybe recommend one or two softwares for you, but I only managed to scratch the surface. I also have the feeling if you really want to create a 2D drawn and animated game, you may have already better knowledge about necessary softwares and so on than me. So please share your recommendations in the comments and help others to find the right software. The only thing I can offer you are two links in the description. One to a list of 2D animation softwares, and I also found at least one of them is free, and a list of pixel art softwares, also some of them are free. Maybe in the future I can offer you some more information, because it's definitely interesting to gain some knowledge in 2D animations. Congratulations, we have finished step 2 in creating our own game, and we have now chosen the right softwares. With that, the easiest steps are done. Now we have to learn how to use the new softwares, and then finally create the game itself. Not something that can be done overnight. Also from now on, there are no clear steps anymore. Depending on the game design and the software you use, you may have to go in other directions than anybody else. But don't worry, I'm here to help. My PM is open for questions or come say hi in one of my live streams. For more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe.